Hello everyone, welcome to session 24 of Selenium Java training. In today's session, we are going to continue with other topics. So the first topic is going to be cross-browser testing using Selenium Grid. So guys, if you remember in the beginning of the sessions, I told you Selenium is not a single thing, right? Selenium is not a single thing. It consists of different components. So there are four components of Selenium. So what are the different components of Selenium, guys? One is Selenium IDE. Then we have Selenium RC. Then Selenium WebDriver. And finally, Selenium Grid. These are the four different components which form Selenium, right? So already covered Selenium IDE, which should not be learned in depth, as already discussed. Okay, at a high level, we have looked into what is Selenium IDE and how to use it. That's fine. And coming to Selenium RC, it's completely outdated, deprecated, you can say, and no need to learn. And we have gone through good number of sessions and in detailed sessions on Selenium WebDriver already. And the last one that is left out is nothing but the Selenium Grid, right? So in today's session, I am going to take up this topic of Selenium Grid. So here I was saying cross-browser testing using Selenium Grid. Using Selenium Grid, we can achieve cross-browser testing. Okay, you can execute your automation scripts on different browsers. You can execute your automation scripts on different machines having different browsers. We can execute our automation scripts using Selenium Grid on different machines having different browsers. That's where we can achieve cross-browser testing using Selenium Grid. So fine, let's get started with this topic first. Fine. So we can distribute our test to run on different machines having different browsers using Selenium Grid. So how this is possible? All those things I'll explain. Okay. So the current topic is nothing but Selenium Grid. Using Selenium Grid, what we can achieve? We can distribute. Okay. We can distribute our automation tests on different machines. Not this is my current machine, guys. Okay, whatever that you are seeing on my screen is a my current machine. So but by using Selenium Grid, we can distribute our automation scripts that are created in my machine to be executed on different machines. Okay, we can distribute our automation scripts on different machines for execution on different machines having different browsers for execution. What's the purpose of distribution here? For execution of these automation scripts, we can write the automation scripts in my machine and distribute those automation scripts to be executed on other different machines having different browsers. So this is what Selenium Grid does. I'll explain this more detailed way. Let's okay, just wait for a while. This particular thing you will get more clarity, guys. Okay, fine. So if you remember TestNG, the last few sessions, last 3 sessions, I've explained about TestNG, right? In detailed, I explained about TestNG. So if I talk about parallel execution, how to perform parallel execution, guys? What we have to use for parallel execution? At the same time, we have to execute our automation scripts at the same time. That is parallelly, we have to execute our automation scripts at the same time. What we have to use, guys, for parallel execution? How parallel execution is possible? How parallel execution is possible, guys? With the help of, yes, you are right, Krish. We have to use TestNG. TestNG is something which will allow you to perform parallel execution. So we have to provide these attributes like parallel is equal to methods, okay, thread counts. In the last session, I explained this. Okay, at the end of this was the last topic of TestNG, if you remember. So here I was explaining like if you open this, sorry, 1 minute, let it load. If you we have to open this testng.xml files. Okay, so somewhere we have provided this. Not here. Yeah, here you see parallel is equal to methods. This particular single attribute of testng, when provided inside this testng.xml file, will execute your test methods in parallel way. Okay, at same time your test execution will start. So already I demonstrated this thing for you in the last session. So you can refer to this session if you are not aware of. Fine. So here also at test level, test module level, we have added parallel is called methods. Because of this single attribute, your test will, the test methods inside this particular test module will execute in a parallel way. And that too, how many tests will execute in parallel? Two methods. Two methods. If you say three methods will execute parallel like that. So this is all possible with the help of TestNG. Parallel execution is possible with the help of TestNG, guys. So next thing is, but what about Selenium grid? Selenium grid is not for parallel execution. Okay, TestNG is for parallel execution. TestNG, if we have to enable parallel execution, we have to use TestNG. But what about Selenium grid? But what about Selenium grid? Selenium grid's main purpose is for distribution. Okay, distribute tests to be executed on different machines is the purpose, guys. Just understand this purpose clearly. Okay, TestNG is for parallel execution, whereas Selenium grid is for distributing your tests. Even though you have created this automation scripts on this machine, you can distribute them to be executed on different machines. Okay, that is what is Selenium grid all about. TestNG is about parallel execution. Selenium grid is about distribution of tests on different machines and their different browsers. Fine. So disadvantages of TestNG. Let me explain. It's not exactly the disadvantages of TestNG. You can say this as limitations of TestNG. Okay, limitations of TestNG you can see. So what happens here is when you run your tests, when you run your test in a parallel way, here using TestNG will not be able to distribute your test case. Okay, so TestNG will run all your tests in the single machine itself, in the same machine where you are using TestNG, in the same machine, in a single machine, all these tests will be running parallelly. So when all the tests will run parallelly, let's say these are all the tests which are running parallelly. If all the tests are running parallelly, based on the count of the tests, your performance of the test will degrade. Performance of tests will degrade because in a single machine you are executing all your tests in a parallel way with the help of TestNG, right? So what happens when multiple tests will execute in a single machine at the same time? Based on the number of tests which are getting executed at the same time, your performance, that is your test will slow down. If a automation test will take 5 minutes, after because of this parallel execution it may take 15 minutes. For a single test to run, it will take 15 minutes. Slow performance, right? The execution of the test will become very slow because here what's the problem here, guys? Why the execution is becoming slow? Because single memory, a single machine, you are executing the test, you are executing the test on single machine. That's the problem, guys. Okay, There are multiple tests which are executing in a single machine at the same time. Because of this, the memory and all those things will get affected, and a single automation test which generally takes 5 minutes will actually take 15 minutes because of the performance issues. This is a problem. This is a limitation, you can say. Test change is powerful only. It will allow you to parallel execute the tests. But at the end, what happening? Multiple tests you are executing in a single machine. Since multiple tests are executing, the memory and all those things will get affected. And because of that, the performance degradation for the particular test automation will happen. And a single test which actually takes 5 minutes will actually take 15 minutes or so, as an example. Okay. But what if we can distribute these tests into different machines, which is not possible by TestNG. Okay, which is not possible by TestNG. So TestNG. So how this is possible, guys? I want parallel execution. At same time, I want the test to be, the performance should not be degraded. So what we have to do? We have to overcome the single machine concept. We have to distribute all these tests across multiple machines. Even though parallel execution is there, your test should run on multiple machines. Then what happens? The performance will not degrade, right? If the test, if two tests run on single machine and another two tests are running on another machine, another two tests are running on another machine at same time, the performance will not degrade, and whatever, okay, the time it actually takes, that will be taken for each and every automation test. Fine. So, what is the solution, guys? TestNG, TestNG for parallel execution. Selenium grid for distribution of tests. If I want both, what I have to do? I have to use a combination of TestNG plus grid. TestNG will allow parallel execution. Grid will distribute this parallel execution of tests into multiple machines. So in one machine, one test will be executed at same time. In another machine, another test will be executed. So parallel execution is there at same time. Distribution of tests is there. So guys, in interview, you may get some questions. Okay, you should not get confused. So you should not say that grid will do parallel execution. That's not correct. Okay. TestNG does a parallel execution, and TestNG when used with Selenium grid will give you the proper thing. Okay. Will give you the proper output. Grid is only for the distribution of test. Grid is only for the distribution of test. So let me explain. Okay. How grid can distribute the test. Let me explain at this line. So far clear, guys. So far is it clear about what is the role of TestNG? What is the role of grid? Great. Anyhow, I'll explain what exactly the grid does for distribution of the test, okay? So that it will be more clear for you. So, Selenium grid. The purpose is to distribute tests across multiple machines having different browsers for execution. So, the thing here, guys, is our machine where we are creating the automation tests. Let's say this is my machine, and here I am, okay. So this is my machine, and here I am creating different automation tests. Let's say these are all my automation tests, okay. They're all my automation tests, let's say. So this machine where I am creating the automation test is known as hub, okay. The hub is my machine where I am creating automation tests, and from this hub I will not be executing my automation tests on hub, okay. I will not be executing my automation tests on hub. Instead, I will be distributing from my hub machine whatever the automation tests are already created, right? This test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5, like that, okay. I'll be distributing to be executed on different machines, some other machines, okay, which are in my network. So these machines which I am distributing are known as node machines. These are node machines, guys. These are also laptops or some desktops or whatever it is, okay. So some other machines. So let's say this machine is like, hub machine is like Windows, okay, Windows machine, some Windows 10 or something. Here also we have Windows. Windows having some browsers like Chrome and all those stuff. Okay. So let's say this is Linux machine having some browsers like Firefox or something. Okay. Here we have Mac machine having Safari browser like that. Okay. Some other flavor of Linux, Ubuntu flavor, let's say having Chrome. Okay. So some other Windows machine, Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 having some IE browser, IE 9 browser, let's say. Okay. Like this. So we can have different configurations of machines. That's fine as node machines. And here we have the hub machine. And here, let's say 100 automation tests are there. 100 automation tests are there. So what I did is I want to execute all these 100 automation tests in different machines. Okay, this 100 automation tests in different machines having different operating systems, different browsers and all. So what happens is hub will distribute your automation tests into different machines. And here TestNG role is also there, guys. If you enable the parallel execution with TestNG, what will happen? So let's say parallel execution, you said at same time you want to execute like let's say 20 tests. Okay, parallelly execute some 20 tests you said, or five, or to make this example very simple, 5 tests at the same time. Okay, parallel execution, parallel is equal to methods. Okay, there is a hyphen count is equal to 5 you mentioned in the testng.xml file. So what happens is hub will, from out of this 100 automation tests, one automation test will be sent to node, one of the node, another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here, like that. Five at the same time, 5 automation tests are getting executed on different machines. After this 5 are done, another 5 will be sent, another 5 will be sent. So if you don't have these node machines and TestNG is like if you don't have this many of parallel, this many of node machines, you cannot distribute your automation test, right? And this TestNG thing will be not possible because parallel execution without the nodes will degrade your performance. So it will not enable the parallel execution. So what happens at same time in hub, only one test will be running, one after one. 100 automation tests are there. For example, each and every automation test is taking 5 minutes of time. If 100 automation tests are there, if you don't have this hub and node combination, how much time it will take, guys? Each and every automation test is taking 5 minutes. If the each and every automation test is taking 5 minutes, if there are no hub and nodes, and if there are no hub and nodes, I will not use the parallel execution. In that case, how much time it will take? Each and if 100 automation tests are there, what do you think, guys? Each and every automation test is taking 5 minutes, and there are 100 automation tests. How much time? You can tell in minutes, guys. Very simple mathematics, right? Yes, 500 minutes total. You're right, Karan. It will take 500 minutes. But what if we have hub and nodes and let's say five nodes are there? Okay, 5 nodes are there. So in that case, how much time it will take? So at a time, five five machines. Okay, 5 tests can run. So just tell me, guys, how much time it will take? 500 divided by 5, right? That is how much time it will take, guys. If you calculate at a time, 25 minutes will be saved. Like you can see five are there, right? So total 100 minutes, I guess. What do you think? So every time 25 minutes, 25 minutes, 5 minutes will be 25 minutes. So so I think it will be like within how much time it will be completed, guys? Can someone answer this? If we allow parallel execution and at same time your tests are executing it at a time, five are getting done. Okay. So in that case, how much time it will take? Any guesses? So so 20 minutes you are saying. Let's see. So 25 minutes at a time. How many iterations? 20. 225 the 50. Yes, correct guys. That's correct. Okay, that's correct. So 20 minutes in 20. Okay, 20 minutes. Is that correct? 5 minutes instead of 5 minutes, 25. Fine. 5 into 20. 20 times. I'm just confused here. That's okay. Someone is saying 25. Okay. Someone is saying 25. That's fine. So this is all about time, right? So 100 test cases, 500 minutes it is taking. Okay. 100 test cases, 500 minutes is taking. But let's say we have 5 automation tests being run at same time. This one will take 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, 5 tests will be completed. In 5 minutes, earlier 5 minutes, only one test was completed. Now, in 5 minutes, how many tests are getting completed? 5 tests. In 5 minutes, 5 tests are getting completed. So total 100 tests are there. Total 100 tests are there. So another 5 minutes, 10 will be completed. So in 10 minutes, 10 tests are getting completed, right? In 10 minutes, in 5 minutes, 5 tests are getting completed. In 10 minutes, so next 5 minutes, what will happen? Next 5 tests will be completed. So in 10 minutes, 10 tests got completed. So just think, for 100 tests, how much time it will take? For 100 tests to be completed, how much time it will take? 100 minutes. Got the answer, guys? In 100 minutes, we can complete. Instead of 500 minutes, it will be completed in 100 minutes. Is that clear for you guys? Is that clear for you, the calculation? This is how we have to calculate, okay? So, bit confusing, but okay. So, the result is 100 minutes, okay? 100 minutes. So, like this, we have to calculate. In 10 minutes, 10 tests are completing. So, for 100 tests, 100 minutes. It will take 100 minutes. But here, anyhow, the original one was taking how much time? Without grid. Without grid and test ng, it was taking 500 minutes. But with grid and test ng, okay, it is taking 100 minutes. So this is kind of advantage for us, guys. Okay, this is the advantage of using test ng plus grid. Fine. Anyhow, now you understood what is test ng, what is the purpose of test ng, what is the purpose of grid, and together what it can achieve. So understanding hub by nodes. Okay, from hub by nodes. Anyhow, I am going to practically demonstrate this hub by nodes concept for you guys. Okay, in some time. Now I'll start anyhow. So this is the place where we'll start that. So here theoretically explain what is hub, how we are going to distribute the test to the nodes and all those stuff. Here we are going to focus only on grid, guys. Okay, only on grid. How the grid is will be able to distribute our test across different machines. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow these steps. Okay, all these things are practical steps, guys. So the concept here is my machine that you are seeing on the screen is a hub machine. I'm going to make my machine as hub machine. Since I don't have multiple laptops, only one extra laptop I collected, guys. Okay, only one extra laptop I collected. Okay, so only one laptop is there with me. So that only laptop, I am going to make that as node. Okay, so apart from the laptop that you are seeing on the screen, this is my laptop, right? This is my laptop. So this one, whatever the laptop you are seeing, this laptop is a hub machine. I'm going to make this as hub machine. Here automation tests will be there in my hub machine. Automation tests which are created will be there in my hub machine. And what I will do is from this hub machine, with the help of Selenium grid, from my hub machine, I will distribute the automation test from hub machine to the another machine known as node machine. So I'll also show you a node machine, guys. Okay, so which I have. So I will connect to that node machine with the help of team viewer. There is software known as team viewer using which you can connect to the remote machines, right? So this is a team viewer. I will be entering all the details. This is a ID already entered. I'll try to connect. it will ask for password anyhow. I'll provide the password which I can see in the other machine. Okay, I just enter the password and click on login. So what's happening guys? I got connected to another machine. Okay, so this is my hub machine and this is my node machine. Okay, we can put a screenshot if you want, okay, right click. Okay, one minute. I'll do something here so that things will be easy. Paint the node machine, right? So node machine is a bit slow. 1 minute, guys. Just to avoid the confusions, I'm just doing this. I'm just putting this kind of thing on my node machine. File, save as, close this, right click, set as just a background. Now you can see this is a node machine, right? This is my node machine and this is my hub machine. Okay, this is a hub machine, and from the hub machine we are accessing a node machine. So another machine I connected remotely using the TeamViewer software. So guys, our requirement is to do what? From our hub machine where automation tests are there, we have to distribute an automation test to be running on node machine. I'll run the test on, I'll run here, but the test will be executed in the node machine. Here it should be executed. So how to do this? How can I run a particular test on my hub machine? When I run something here in a hub machine, the test should be executed in which machine? Node machine. This machine. The test should be executed here. So that thing I have to show practically for you. For that, we have to do a lot of configurations, guys. Okay. So first, we have to configure the Selenium grid. Steps for configuring Selenium grid. Okay. Before going to hub and nodes, we have to configure Selenium grid. So for that, guys, in my hub machine, okay, in my hub machine, that is my machine, this machine. Okay, so I have to do few steps. What are they? I have to first download Selenium standalone server. I have to download Selenium standalone server. How to download? Go to selenium.dev and go to downloads. Here you see Selenium server grid is there, right? Selenium server grid is there. This is the one we have to download. And here latest stable version of the Selenium server grid is the same version 3.141.59. Click on this. So it started downloading, guys. Selenium server standalone is getting downloaded. Keep. That's fine. Let's keep. Let's wait for it to completely download. You can go to our downloads, and here it got downloaded. Okay. So I'll try to move all these things into others folder so that you'll not get confused. Okay. Just move this here. So fine. Only we have Selenium. What is that? It's saying replace. Fine. At present, okay. This is also being moved. Fine. This is a Selenium server standalone, guys. Okay, which just now I downloaded it, right? Selenium server standalone. Fine, it got downloaded completely or not? Okay, fine. It got downloaded, guys, completely now. Okay, it got downloaded. Or we'll do one thing. I'll download it again. There was some problem, it seems. Let's click on it again. It will download again. Keep. So let's go to downloads folder and see. Okay, it got downloaded, right? It got downloaded. You see. So this is the Selenium server standalone. I have to copy this, guys, and go to your C drive and paste it here in the C drive. Simple. Once copied, paste into the C drive. Continue. That's it. Selenium standalone server. Okay. Selenium server standalone. We have to download first and move into the C drive. We have to move that particular thing into the C drive. So I already copied the Selenium server to C drive. So next thing I have to do is we have to register hub. We have to register hub by following steps. How to register hub? So you have to register hub by nodes, guys. For the Selenium grid to work, we have to register hub by nodes. First of all, let's register hub. How to register hub? After downloading the Selenium server standalone and copying that into the C drive, in the C drive, okay, at the place where this Selenium standalone server is there, just select here and type guys cmd. Okay, just type cmd guys, that's it, nothing more than that, and press enter. What will happen? The command prompt will open at the C drive like this. Okay, the command prompt will open at the C drive. You see the location is C drive. Now type a command. This command we have to run java hyphen jar, the whatever the Selenium server standalone, right, dot jar role hub we have to type. This is the command for registering the hub, guys. Java hyphen jar, and this is a Selenium. Just select like this, copy the name, paste it here, say dot jar, extension is jar. Okay, for this one is jar file. Then hyphen role, you have to say what is the role. What is the role, guys? We want to register hub, so role hub we have to say, enter. So the hub is getting registered, guys. Selenium grid hub is up and running. It's saying something here, you can see here, Selenium grid hub is up and running. You can now register nodes to this particular hub. Where is hub running, guys? At which IP address hub is running? Hub is running at this IP address. This is the IP address of the hub. Okay, this is the IP address where this hub is running. Which port number? 4444 port number. Okay, so what is IP address and what is port number? Does anyone know what is IP address and what is port number? What is port number, guys? Does anyone know what is port number, guys? So guys, let's say this is our machine. In our machine, this machine, just treat this as a hotel, one hotel. Okay, so in this hotel there are several rooms, right? Okay, when you go to a very big hotel or something, there will be several rooms available, and when you enter to the hotel, you'll be given one room, right? You'll be given one room. So like this, here this hub is registered in our machine. Okay, so the hub should run at particular. The complete hotel has an IP address, guys. Okay, this hotel is nothing but an IP address. Here our IP address is this one. Complete hotel means this IP address. Okay, this IP address is the hotel, and in this IP address we registered our grid. Okay, Selenium hub, for now hub, right? Grid hub. This hub should run in which port? In which room it has to run? Which room? 444 room. Okay, 444 room. This hub will be running in this particular port number, like that, guys. Okay, tomorrow some other thing will be there. For example, Jenkins will be there. Okay, Jenkins is another tool. Okay, which we'll be learning soon. Okay, in the next session we'll be learning Jenkins. So let's say Jenkins is to be run on 5555 port or 556 bits. Anything, guys, anything is fine. Okay, 5566. So here 5566 room number which is running, Jenkins is running. So here, if you have to represent this Jenkins in the form of IP address, you have to say colon 5566, like this, guys. Okay, this is IP address, this is the port number where Jenkins is running, like that, guys. So clear, guys, about IP address and port? Is it clear? So similarly, we registered our hub. The hub is running at this particular IP address and in this particular port number. Port number is like a room number in a hotel. Okay, this is the room, and this is a this is a hotel, and in this hotel this is the room. This is where the hub is running. You can now connect your nodes to this hub. You can connect your nodes to the hub, it's saying. Fine. How to connect the nodes to the hub? Everything I'll explain soon. Just wait for a while. So now, guys, now we have to do something, guys. We got the IP address and port number where hub is running, right? So we just need to append this /grid/console and open in a browser. Let's open this Chrome browser. and here I will say, I'll copy this up to here. Up to here I will copy slash grid slash console. I have to say slash grid slash console and press enter. What will happen? Grid console will come. So here, do you see any nodes already there connected to the grid? Do you see any nodes connected to the grid already, guys? Is there any grid node displayed here, which is displayed as connected to the grid already? It is blank, right? No nodes are there. Guys, you can respond in the chat. This is a grid console. And do you see any nodes here? Just type yes or no. If you see nodes, you can say yes. Otherwise, say no. No, right? Yeah, correct. No is correct answer because this is blank, guys. At present, this grid console is not showing any nodes. So if any nodes are connected to our hub, okay, we already registered hub, and if any nodes are connected to the hub, what will happen? Here nodes will be displayed. Okay, you will see that in soon. Okay, you will see that soon, guys. Fine. Next thing is how to register nodes to the hub. So I cannot register multiple nodes at this time because I told you already I have only one extra machine. Okay, one laptop is there. If you have multiple laptops, you can register multiple nodes. Okay, here I only have one extra laptop which I made as a node machine. I am trying to make as a node machine. Since I have only one node machine, here only one will be displayed. Okay, one node will be displayed. So let me show you how to register the nodes to the above hub. So in node machine, we have to make sure Java is already installed and configured. How to do that, guys? First, let's go to the node machine. This is the node machine, guys. Let me maximize. This is a node machine. Here I need to check whether Java is configured and successfully installed and configured. Open command prompt. What is the command, guys? To check whether Java is installed or not. What is the command? Can someone say? What is the command for checking whether Java is installed here or not in this node machine? Java hyphen version. If I press enter, it will tell me whether Java is already installed or not. Okay. Yes. Which version of Java is there? 11.0.8. What about in my host machine? Sorry. Here also, I'll open one command prompt. Here also I'll type Java hyphen version. Which version is there? In node machine, this version is there. In node machine, this version is there. What about hub machine? 1 minute. Yeah, this is a hub machine. Hub machine also 11.0.7 version is there. Node machine also 11.0. Some small version change is there. That's fine. But make sure that you have the high level version same, guys. Here 11 is same. Okay, that's fine. So this is the first step we have to confirm. After that, in the node machine, we have to download Selenium standalone server jar. Okay, in the node machine also, we have to download Selenium server standalone. Where to go, guys? From where we have to download Selenium server standalone? Selenium.dev. You have to go to selenium.dev and click on downloads and click on Selenium server grid and click on this stable version of Selenium server. This we already downloaded in our hub machine, but in node machine also we have to download again. So go to the downloads. So this one got downloaded. We have to copy this and paste into the C drive here also in the node machine. Okay, here also we have to copy and paste into the C drive. That's fine. This is done. What is the next step? Next step is we have to download Chrome driver.exe. Okay, we have to download in the node machine. We have to download Chrome driver, guys. How to download Chrome driver? The same. Go to downloads of selenium.dev. Scroll down. Browsers. Chrome is there here. Click on documentation. And here we have to download some version here of Chrome driver.exe file. So, but here we have to first know which version of Chrome browser it is. About Chrome, about Google Chrome, you have to say. And here 84 point something something is there. So I have to download Chrome driver 84. So I am downloading the Chrome driver 32-bit. So Chrome driver, Windows 32-bit is getting downloaded. Show in folder, the downloads. Extract this, extract here. So we got Chrome driver.exe file. Copy this also and put into the C drive again. Continue. Okay. So now we downloaded the Selenium server standalone in the node machine and Chrome driver.exe also in the Chrome machine. Now, sorry, we already copied these things into the C drive. Now we have to run a command to restore the node. Here in our hub machine, we already restored the hub, right? Like this. Using this command, we restart the hub in our hub machine. In the node also, we have to restart the node. How to do that? So this is a command, guys. So let me explain in a detailed manner how to do this. First of all, from the C drive, again, say cmd so that command prompt will open at the C drive location. Type the same command, java hyphen jar, then this one, right? Copy this, sorry, copy this, paste it here, say dot jar, say hyphen role. Here for registering hub, we have said hub hub. But what about node? For node, we have to say node. No, we have to say WebDriver. Okay, hyphen role WebDriver. Let's confirm this. Yeah, this one. Okay, hyphen role WebDriver. Then after that, Java hyphen jar Selenium server standalone dot jar hyphen role WebDriver. We have to say. Then we have to give the details of the hub machine. Okay, so we have to say slash hub, and then we have to give the details of the hub machine. What are the details of the hub machine? These things. Okay, so we have to give the location of the hub machine. Where is the hub machine running? This IP address it is running. Which port number? This port number. Up to here, just give up to here for now. Sorry, let me copy, Control C, and go here and say paste. So I cannot maximize this. So this is the only way. So you see Java hyphen jar Selenium standalone dot jar. So there is a mistake here, guys. If you see here, I just some comma came here instead of dot. Okay, dot jar has to come. Small mistakes will cost you many things. Okay, so WebDriver hyphen hub and paste it here. Then slash. What is the command, guys? Slash grid slash register. We have to append. Slash grid slash register. Slash grid slash register. We have to say. After this, any other things are there? And we have to use some port number. Hyphen port. Which port number? This particular Selenium server standalone should run in node machine. Any port number you can give. I'm giving 5555. You can give 5566 also, it's fine. Okay. So this hub is running on 444 port number in hub machine, right? And you're asking this particular command to run this node machine, node servers, Selenium server standalone to run on this 5555 port. That's fine. So this is not enough, guys. We have to tweak more. And one more thing you downloaded here, Chrome driver.exe, right? This one you have to mention now. You have to modify this command now. You have to go to the beginning of the command. After Java, you have to say hyphen d WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver is equal to, we have to give the path where this Chrome driver dot exe is available. It is available at C drive Chrome driver dot exe. Okay, we have to give the path of this Chrome driver here. So for that, after Java, we have to say hyphen. So just confirm this. Java hyphen d WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver is equal to the path of the Chrome driver. This one we have to mention before these things. So this is how we have to understand the things, guys. Okay. So we are registering the node here in the node machine by typing. These are all the commands you have to practice. There is no other way. Okay, this is a configuration or setup, whatever you can call. So where we have to give the path of the Chrome driver, we have to mention that this is a node machine. Hyphen role is not hub. WebDriver means node slash, and we have to connect this node to the hub. We have to register this node to the hub. How to register? Slash grid slash register. You have to append to the IP address of the node hub machine. Okay. Then you are asking this particular node to be running on which port number? 5555 port number. Enter. That's it. So you see something is happening. Starting auto registration and all. The node is registered to the hub and ready to use. It is registered, guys. The node has node is up and running, and at the same time it is registered to the hub and ready to use. So how to confirm whether node is really connected to us? Go to your host machine. Here earlier node machine was not there. Now press enter. You see you got any node machine, guys? You got any node machine now, guys? Type S if you are able to see any node machine. Great. You see, this is how we have to configure. This is all about configurations. You have to follow these nodes properly and give the appropriate commands. This command for registering the hub, this command for registering the node. Okay. We can give any port number, not only this 5555 and all. We can give any port number. That's fine. Then, okay. Here, hub command prompt also just open. You see, it is clearly saying not only this particular console, guys. Also, the command prompt in the hub machine also is saying registered a node at this particular location. You see, in the command prompt of the hub, registered a node HTTP. So this IP address, at this IP address, a node is registered to this hub at this port number. The hub node machine is running. It's saying fine. This kind of things you will see in action. Once hub and node are connected, you will see these things. Fine now. So this part is done, guys. Config registration of hub and node are done. And now we have a hub machine. We have a node machine. Hub is connected to the node machine. Things are good. Now the actual thing comes. We have to create a project. Let's create a project, guys. Let's create a project here. Right click new, Java project. I'll just name this as grid project. Click on finish. Don't create. So fine. So here grid project. Under this, we have to create a class with main method. Okay. Next, create a class with main method. Right click, new, create a class with main method. Some demo class, anything is fine, guys. You can give any name. Okay. Then public static void main. Here, first thing is that inside this main method, earlier if you are writing something for normal automation test, you would write something like this, right? Driver is equal to new Chrome driver, like this, right? Like this you would have write, but now you will not write like this, guys. So before that we need to configure this project with Selenium. Earlier, if you have to configure this project with Selenium, you can go here, right? Selenium.dev, go to downloads, go here at this location, Java Selenium WebDriver Java, and here you can download this. Normal Selenium you can download, like Selenium Java. The latest version of Selenium will come. The latest stable version of Selenium will come here. What is this version? Let's go to downloads and see. Selenium Java 3.141.59. You can extract this, right? For normally, if you want to do this, you can do this. Okay, all the jar files related to Selenium, you have to copy these two jar files and remaining jar files from inside the libraries and put that into the libraries folder. All those things used to be done. Now for Selenium Grid, you don't have to do like that. Simply say create a libraries folder. I just created a libraries folder under this project. In this libraries folder, instead of copying all these jar files of normal Selenium Java, what I will do is I'll simply copy this Selenium standalone only. Okay. So from here I downloaded, right? Selenium Grid. This one, this part, this only I'll try to put that into libraries now. You don't need all the jar files now. Only the Selenium server standalone is enough. Right click on the project, properties, Java build path, or you can go in a different way also, guys. Right click, you have some option like build path, okay, configure build path. Both will go to the same location, okay. Both will go to the same location. Either right click, properties, Java build path, or right click on the project, say build path, configure build path. Both will go to the same location. Go to libraries tab, select class path, say add jars, expand this. Under libraries, we have the Selenium server standalone. Click on OK, apply, apply. That's it, guys. Okay. Now, so now I am not going to write WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. I am not going to write. Okay. This one I am not going to write. I can still use this. I can still use this, but I am not going to write like this. Instead of Chrome driver, I am going to write remote driver. Why I am saying remote driver, guys? Import WebDriver. Import. Okay. It's not coming. So we'll go to the library of Java, Selenium, and go to API docs and go to WebDriver interface. So this is a WebDriver interface. You see here, Chrome driver, Edge driver is there, Firefox driver. For remote driver, what is there? Remote WebDriver is there. So I should be giving here remote WebDriver, not remote driver. Hover the mouse, import remote WebDriver. So the problem is coming here because when you import this remote WebDriver, the constructor cannot be empty. Here you need to provide the desired capabilities. Okay, you have to provide desired capabilities, guys. So this is a code you can compare. This is what we are trying to write. Okay, this is what we are trying to write, guys. This automation code. So here we have to give URL and desired capabilities. Two things we have to give to this remote WebDriver. So the IP address of the hub we have to give. So let's give the IP address of the hub first. It will be easy. New URL. In this URL, you have to give the IP address of the hub. Complete this thing. Okay, up to here. Copy. IP address, port number, WD. WD means WebDriver hub. Paste it here. The first thing. Here we have to give desired capability. Okay. Here we have to give desired capability. Yeah. Guys, can you are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me, guys? Okay, fine. So here, guys. So earlier we used to do WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver, but now we are saying remote WebDriver. Why we are saying remote WebDriver? This is the way, guys. This is our hub. This is our hub machine. This is our node machine. Here, our tests are there in hub machine. Our automation tests are there in hub machine, but they need to be executed in which machine? Node machine. How? How to do that? For that, we already did few steps. That is, we first registered. First, we registered hub. Then we registered node to this hub. Now hub and node are connected. Next steps are, we have to write some automation tests here. We have to write some automation tests here in such a way that we'll be using remote WebDriver. Okay, this remote WebDriver will distribute your test to the node machine. Okay, why we are writing remote WebDriver? Because this particular automation test should be run remotely. That's why remote WebDriver. Instead of Chrome driver, we are saying remote WebDriver. Fine. And also remote WebDriver, that's fine. That's correct. But in node machine, in which browser it will be run? So for our configurations, it will be run on Chrome browser. Why, guys? Can someone guess why? Even though we said remote WebDriver, it's not a Firefox driver, or it's not a Chrome driver, or it is not Internet Explorer driver. but still I am saying the node machine. Once you say remote web driver, it will run on Chrome browser. Why I am saying like that? Because if you see the node machine here, Java -d webdriver dot chrome dot driver is equal to which path you have given, guys? Which path you have given? Chrome driver dot exe you have given. If you want automation scripts to be run on Firefox browser in this particular machine, what you will give? Java -d webdriver dot chrome, instead of Chrome you will say Firefox dot driver is equal to c colon slash geeko driver dot exe you will give. What about IE browser? If you want to run in this node machine, you have to give Java -d webdriver dot IE dot driver is equal to c colon Internet Explorer driver dot exe. Like that we have to give, guys. Okay. So node is already specified to be run on which browser? Chrome driver dot exe, that is Chrome browser. So here simply we'll say remote web driver. In hub machine we'll say remote web driver. So the role of this hub machine is to distribute the test to the node machine. Node machine will decide which browser it has to run. Understood, guys? Clear, guys? Is it clear? Are you able to understand what I am saying? Is it clear for you, guys? Type as it is clear. Otherwise, say no and ask questions, guys. Okay. If any confusions are there, just let me know. So from the hub machine, we are using remote web driver. Remote web driver will simply pass this driver, okay, as a raw to this node driver. Node will decide the actual driver. Okay. Here we are not deciding at the side of the hub. We are not deciding any driver. So remote web driver. Remotely we want to execute. That's the only thing from the hub machine. Fine. Okay. Next thing is here already we started. First two parameters you have to give here, guys. Okay. To this remote web driver constructor, you have to specify two parameters. First parameter, URL of the hub you have to give. From here we already copied, right? This is the one we have to copy. So we already copied this URL. Second part is desired capabilities. Why we have to give desired capabilities? Okay. So hub also can specify. For example, here multiple nodes are there. Okay. Here multiple nodes are there. Another node, another node. In this node machine, for example, in this node machine, here Firefox browser is there. Let's say, okay, this node machine is having geeko driver.exe configured. This node machine is having some IE browser configured, that is Internet Explorer driver.exe configured. Now, guys, so while distributing your tests across different machines, the hub will think, okay. So here, if you say desired capabilities to be specified as Chrome browser, okay, I want this particular automation test to be run on Chrome browser. If you decide, so to which machine the hub machine will forward? This machine or this machine or this machine? If the automation test is designed for Chrome browser, if the automation test is designed for Chrome browser, the hub will distribute the test to which machine, guys? Out of these three machines, which machine? Yes. How to specify that? Yes, the Chrome machine, right? If the automation test is designed for Chrome browser, hub has to think, okay, this one has Firefox, so let's not send this particular test case to Firefox. Okay, this machine is ruled out. Now hub will check whether this machine has a Chrome browser or not. Yeah, it is there. Yeah, it's satisfied. Just send it like that. Okay. So that kind of thing, if you want to specify, okay, we have to decide means what you are desiring. I am desiring that my automation test should be running on Windows machine, Windows 10 machine having Chrome browser. Then the desiring thing you have to write here, guys. How to write that? For that, you have to create an object for a predefined class known as desired capabilities class. Okay. Desired capabilities. So just see. Okay. DC is equal to new desired capabilities. So for the mouse, sorry, any mistake I did, desired capabilities is equal to DC is equal to new capabilities. Spelling mistake. You see, desired import desired capabilities. Okay, fine. This is fine, guys. Once you create an object, now DC dot, you have a lot of methods here. You see, set capabilities are there. Set capability. Set capability. You can set the platform. Okay. DC dot set platform. Platform dot which platform, guys? My node machine platform. Can someone say what is a platform? It's Windows or Mac or Linux. My node machine. This machine is of which platform? Windows, right? So I have to give Windows here. Dot Windows. That's it. Okay. Operating system we have already mentioned. Another thing we have to mention is dot set. So here set browser something. Okay. Set browser name, I guess. Browser name. Let's confirm here. Yes. Set browser name. Which browser? In small letters you have to give, guys. Okay. In small letters you have to give Chrome browser. So here I want to run this automation test on which browser? Chrome browser in node machine. So I have to give Chrome. And tomorrow, this is not really, at present it is not required, guys. Okay, if you have the latest version of Chrome browser, that's enough in the node machine. But tomorrow, if you have a specific version to be run on, you have to say set version. Okay, you have to give the version number also if you want. If you want to give some browser version number, you can give here. If not required, you can ignore that. Okay, at present, we have created the desired capabilities. So which operating system? Windows. Which browser? Chrome browser. So this GC, which is holding this Windows and Chrome, should be passed here. That's it. Nothing more than that. So to this remote web driver, we have to pass two parameters. First parameter is the URL of the hub. Okay. And here, when you say new URL, you'll get this import statement, new URL java.net. The error will be gone. Again, another error is coming. Add throws declaration. You have to say that's it. So first parameter is new URL. Second parameter is desired capabilities on which operating system and browser you want to run. Okay. What is your desired thing? Kind of thing you have to mention here. And based on the available nodes, the hub will check whether whatever the automation test is desiring, that is operating system browser or operating system uh, version, okay, that if you mention here, based on this, it will decide to which node machine this automation test need to be forwarded, distributed. Okay, so that's what we are mentioning in desired capabilities. Fine. What next? What next, guys? After writing all the steps, what next? Remaining things are same, guys. Okay, remaining things are same. You can write your sample automation code. You see, from here to here, everything is same, guys. Okay, I'll be writing some sample automation script like this. Driver dot manage dot, or I will say driver dot get first. Okay, driver dot get. So this application I would like to execute. I'll write some sample automation script, nothing more than that. omai.blogspot.com. This URL you copy and paste into this. Second thing is I'll write driver dot manage dot normal code you write. This automation script will be running on hub machine or node machine, guys. This automation script I am writing here will run on hub machine or node machine. Guys, tell me, guys. Yes, you are right. Krish, you are right. It will be running on node machine. That's why we are writing this much of code. Okay. So here we mentioned it should run on remote. Remote means node machine. On which remote machine? Remote machine having Windows and Chrome browser. That remote machine we want. And which automation script? This automation script should run on that. Window dot maximize. General automation script I am writing. Driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicitly wait. Okay, implicitly wait. Which how much time? 10 seconds. Time unit dot seconds. That's it. Then what else, guys? Once this is done, we generally write. Let's say let's write some automate something so that we can see something in action. Let me type some Arun text into this text box field. How to type? Inspect this. Inspect this, and this one has name. So driver dot find element by dot name q dot send keys. What I want to type into that name, into that text box field, I want to type Arun text. nothing more than that. Arun text. Okay, Arun. After that, I would like to click on the search button. Okay, right click inspect. So how to yeah, how to actually create the XPath. So open CrowPath and type here /input. Okay, so at the rate class is equal to this class. Just copy this class, enter. So this is locating this only one element. That's fine. Copy this XPath. So driver dot find element by dot XPath dot click here to say that's it. Now once you clicked, what will happen? Once you type Arun here and once you click on the search button, this kind of page will come. That's fine. Okay. So this sample automation script, then we'll do one thing. I'll click on this button. I'll get an alert, right? I'll click on this button next, inspect. So I'm just writing some sample code, guys. Okay. You don't have to write the same code. You can write your own code. Driver.find element by dot ID dot click. Okay. Dot click. So we'll do one thing. I'll simply provide some intentionally. I will provide some thread dot sleep here for demonstration purpose. So the script will not be so much fast. Okay, it should not end so much fast, right? So let's give some 3 seconds of hold time. I'll give this here and here so that you can see that the script is getting run on the different node machine in a slow manner instead of running fast, opening fast and closing fast. Fine, let me save it. Control Shift F. Organization will be done. Done. Now the script is ready, guys. Okay, and script is ready, and we already configured our node machine. Node machine is running. Okay, node is registered and connected to hub already. Here in our hub machine also, hub is running. Node is also registered, and you can also cross check this thing before running the script. Refresh here and see the node is still connected or not. Okay, everything is good, guys. Now if I run this automation code, this code will run on my node machine. Okay, let's run it here. First I will run it here, guys. Once I run it here, it will start here, but the execution will happen in node machine. Just see that. Okay, right click, run as Java application. You see here the execution started as it looks like. Go to here. Should run here, guys. Let's see what's happening. Any problems? I have to see. Nothing is happening now. Why so? It's registered properly and everything is fine. No, it's not happening, guys. Let's see what's going wrong. Okay, let me stop this one. You have to see any mistakes I did. Let's cross check again whether I have done any mistakes or so. Let's see this code and see whether I have done any mistakes. Okay, this is correct only. We'll change accordingly. Just move this at the down. Then WebDriver driver is called new WebDriver new WD hyphen hub. This is also correct. So let's cross check. Yes, this is also correct. DC we have given. Yes, DC also we have given. And this is a normal code we have written driver.get and all the stuff. Driver.get and all the stuff. So I think this should be pretty good. And why this is not happening, I have to see. Right click, run as Java application. Again, I am running, guys. Started here. Did you give the wrong IP? Maybe you gave. Okay, I got a ping in the chat. I'm just looking at that. Did you give the wrong IP? Maybe you gave your IP instead of node. Okay. So I guess this is a hub IP address only. This is a hub IP address only. Okay, yeah. Correct. This is correct only. This is correct only. Okay, this is correct. Whatever we gave is correct, guys. Any other things? But under it says port in the command. Okay, here where you are saying, where is that port? No. That's not a confusion. That's not a confusion. That's okay. So, okay, let's do one thing. Let's close all these hub by nodes. Okay, so let's close all these hub by nodes. We'll do one thing. We'll relaunch. Okay, we'll actually register everything and then start again. So there may be a temporary glitch also. We don't know. Okay, so we'll do something. We'll first restart the hub, right? Where is the hub? This is my hub machine. I'll go to my C drive. CMD. Okay, so Java hyphen jar. Copy this. Paste dot jar hyphen role hub. I have to say that's it. So hub is running. Selenium grid hub is up and running. This is fine. Then after that, I need to go to my node machine. Again here, type cmd. Then what is that? Java hyphen d WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver is equal to c colon slash Chrome driver dot exe. Okay. Then slash jar. Copy this and put it here. Paste dot jar hyphen role is WebDriver. Then hyphen hub. We have to give that as the IP address of the hub. This one, I guess. This one I have to give. Node should register to grid slash register. Yes, correct. Paste it here. Then slash. Okay, there is some mistake maybe we did here. Slash port we are saying here. Slash port 5555. Okay. And so 1 minute, I will confirm this. Selenium node. Selenium grid node. Register command. So I'm just seeing whether any mistake I did with the help of with the command. Okay, this is fine. This is correct only. What about nodes? Node. Okay, that's okay. The different ways are there. There are different ways of doing the things. But here port number I want. Port number. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, this is correct only, right? This is correct only. Hyphen port is there. That's correct only. We did no mistake. Press enter. The node is registered and registered to the hub. Just come here. So here we can say this IP address, right? In the hub machine, I am doing this. Slash grid slash console I have to give. Slash console. The node is registered now. Now our automation script is there. What's happening here? Enable unreachable browser exception. It's saying. Any mistake with Chrome? No, right? Chrome is also correct. Here you have to check whether CHROME, set browser name, set platform. So set browser name, Chrome. CHROME, yeah. Small mistake may be done, guys. We have to identify that, nothing more than that. Okay, otherwise it will run. Right click, run as Java application. Yeah, it's working now, guys. Don't know what went wrong. You see in the node machine, the script is running now. Okay, I just restarted the hub by node, that nothing more than that. You see, it's typing, it will type Arun, click on search. This is node machine. Okay, this is node machine, you can see. The node machine, the script is running, right? Okay. We have given considerable amount of wait time, so it's waiting. Unreachable alert exception. Okay, fine. We'll remove the alert code and run. Okay, no need of alert. So let's run it again. Okay, we'll close this instance in the browser instance in the node. This is node machine, guys. As you can see here, this is a node machine. So whatever I run in the hub machine, that will run in the node machine now. Right click, run as Java application. See here in the node machine. The script has started actually, but it's not launched. You see, this has started already. I'll close this again. I'll run again. Stop. Right click, run as Java application. Go immediately to the node machine. You see, the node machine, the script execution has started. The browser is getting maximized. It will type Arun. Click on search button. So all the execution is happening in hub machine, but the actual execution is happening in your you are starting the script in hub machine, but actual execution is happening in node machine, right? That's it, guys. Okay, this is the thing. So clear, guys, how the things are happening? Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? How to configure hub and node? You are executing your script in hub machine, but if you are running your script in hub machine, but your actual execution is happening in the node machine. That's the only concept, guys. That's why grid is required. Grid will distribute the test across different machines. Okay, grid. The purpose of the grid, Selenium grid, is to distribute the test across different machines having different browsers using Selenium grid. That's why cross-browser testing is possible with the help of Selenium grid. You can have multiple machines here. Here, since I only have one extra laptop with me, I was able to demonstrate this. But if you have the possibility of having multiple laptops with you, okay, then you can try out a lot. You can actually put 3 to 4 laptops and connect your hub machine, that your machine, and then you can run your script so that all your automation test scripts will be running on different node machines, right? According to the desired capabilities, they will be distributed across different node machines and your scripts will be executed accordingly. So this is possible with the help of Selenium grid, guys. Fine. Okay, so now if you guys, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions around the Selenium grid concept? Is everything clear? Just type yes, guys, if everything is clear, so that I can move to next topic. Okay, great, fine. So we'll move to the next topic, that is properties. These are simple topics, guys. Okay, that doesn't take that much time. Let's cover up these topics. Fine. So Karan has a question. So what is that question, Karan? We can run in real application means? Can you describe your question in a detailed manner? We can run in real application. Yes, this is a real application only, right? You can actually use real application also for executing on for distributing the test also we can. So you can take this kind of real application and you can run this. Okay, that is also possible, not a problem. I don't think like Karan is asking me a question in the chat that we can use applications like Facebook, YouTube. So it's not recommended, Karan. Okay, we should not automate some real applications like Facebook or YouTube. The reason is the reason is so Facebook or YouTube or whatever the applications, real applications that are there on the web, right? They actually track user flow, user information. They don't want to get unnecessary traffic, right? So they are not designed for your automation practice. If you go for google.com or facebook.com, these are real live applications, right? We should not automate real applications. Okay. Amazon or whatever, these applications have their own right, policies and all those stuff. So if you try to automate your automation scripts on this kind of applications, right, if you are not authorized, you are not authorized person, right? You should not. If you are, if you are not authorized, you should not perform on these real applications. It's not suggestible, guys. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Practice only on demo applications. So take some applications which look real to this application. For example, this is something I hosted myself, tutorialsninja.com/demo. It depicts the e-commerce application. Okay, this is a not dummy application only still. Okay, you should not use Amazon.in. You should not use Amazon.in for practice. You are not authorized to do so. Okay, you may not face any problem, but it's not a recommended thing. Okay, I don't know what will happen if you keep on automating and okay, if you keep sending automation traffic to the Amazon.in, right? If Amazon people will identify your actions, the consequences will happen. Okay, so it's up to your risk levels. But here, if you see something like this, is an e-commerce application. It looks real application. It looks like real application, which is meant for automation practice. So you have to use this kind of applications for automation practice, not real applications like Google or Flipkart, Amazon. Okay, such kind of applications you should not use for automation practice. Karan, is your question cleared? Okay, fine. Then coming to Krish, Krish is asking me another question. Do most jobs that use grid require QA to set up? Yes, as if your requirement as a QA is to set up grid, you have to do that. Okay, there's no other way. So mostly in automation frameworks, this will be part, guys. Okay, grid will be part if there will be in any organization, if they have some automation frameworks. Some frameworks will be based on grid, some frameworks will be based on without grid, like that. Okay, so you have to use appropriate frameworks if they are already designed. But in your organization, if there is no framework having this grid configured already, then you have to do that. Okay, Krish, is it clear? It depends on the organization to organization, where if the organization is running from long time and they are doing automation, when you join that organization will already have that grid setup in a framework already. Okay, you just need to use that framework. But if the framework is not available and your client is asking you to do some parallel execution and with the test engine and grid execution, then you have to create some framework which has that grid possibilities. Okay, we have to configure that grid into that particular framework and get the things done. So like that it will happen. Okay, fine, guys, good questions. Let's move on to the next topic then. Properties, global properties, global parameters. So if you remember, guys, in one of the session I was explaining during test-ng, right? In test-ng I was explaining about something known as hard coding. Is hard coding suggestible? Can we do hard coding in our automation tests? Yes or no? No, right? Yes, Karan, you are right. It's no. We should not do hard coding. Hard coding means direct URLs, direct what do you call passwords, direct email address. We should not provide in the automation tests. Okay, driver dot find element by dot something dot send case email address. You should not provide the actual email address in the automation script. Why? You already know the answer, right? The test ng. I'll explain in test ng. I explained how to do hard coding parameterization with test ng and avoid the hard coding part, right? So if there are 100 tests, if there are 100 tests, in every test in every test you have provided the URL. Okay, you have hard coded the URL. So if one fine day the URL changes of the application, URL changes, what do you have to do? You have to go to each and every test, open each and every test and manually update the URL to the latest URL. But if you put a centralized kind of thing here, okay, centralized kind of file here, and at this only at this point you are providing the URL, then what happens? If tomorrow URL changes, you will only update this centralized position and every test case will access the URL from here. So it will make our job easy. So hard coding is a problem. To avoid hard coding, we have to put a centralized kind of file and then we have to avoid hard coding in the file. From here, from the individual tests, we have to access the URL. From individual tests, we have to access the URL. Fine. So this is also possible with the help of the properties. There's some concept known as properties using which this hard coding can be avoided. How to do that? Let me explain. Okay. So let me explain step by step. So we are done with the grid. Right click, delete. I'm just deleting the project, guys. We are done with the grid, right? So I'm just deleting the project. So now next concept is properties for global parameters. First, we need to create a Maven project. Right click new, create a project and select Maven project. Click on next and click on next. Here you have to search Maven hyphen archetype hyphen quick start and press enter. You got two suggestions. Select the second one from Arc Apache Maven archetypes. Click on next. Here just give some name. Let's say properties demo project. And here give some normal package name, some ppack. Click on finish. So properties demo project is getting created. So let's wait. So expand this, delete the default file. Fine. Now what we have to do? We have to execute a Selenium script with hard-coded values to log into the application. So before going there, let me explain about the properties. Okay. Let me explain you about the properties. This properties concept belongs to Java, guys. Okay. So if you go to Java 11 API, okay, Java 11 API, just click on this. Just say Control F. Here search for all classes. Java library, guys, not Selenium library. Okay. So far, this is a normal Java project only. I didn't configure this with Selenium. Okay. So whatever the concept I am trying to explain, properties, this properties belongs to Java concept only, not Selenium. Okay. Remember that. But this is used in frameworks. This concept is used in frameworks. So I went to the Java 11 API documentation. Control F. Search for what? Search for properties. There is a predefined class known as properties. There is a predefined class known as properties in Java. You see, properties class is there in the Java library. So we need to create an object for that class. So right click new class demo public static void main. Inside this main method, I'm going to create an object for the properties class. So properties prop is equal to new properties. Like this I am creating. So these properties I have to import from which library? Java.util. Okay, not Selenium. Now I'll create a properties file. Okay, I'll create a properties file. So let's say data.properties file I'll create. How to create that? Right click on this project, say new, say file. Okay, just say file. And here file name you have to give. Any name you can give, guys. Data. I'm giving data here. You can give information, info.properties, anything you can give. Data, but extension should be properties. Okay, extension should be dot properties. Name can be anything. Click on finish. A properties file got created, right? Here you see it got created and opened here. In this properties, you can give properties, key value pairs you can give. For example, URL is equal to first property I'm giving omaya.blogspot.com. Okay, or we can give something like this tutorialsninja.com/demo. This URL I'll give this login URL. Okay, then email property I will give email property, that is key value pair. Email is equal to I'll give Arun dot Selenium. I'll just try to log in with this Arun dot Selenium the red gmail.com second at the rate 123. I'm just giving some proper okay, this is working fine. Password is equal to second at the rate 123. I'm just giving all these things in the properties, guys. Okay, properties file. Save this. I just gave 3 properties so far. So in this demo, how to get these properties, how to read these properties from here. This is a test. Assume that this is a test. Okay, this is a test case. And this test want to access this is a centralized place, right? I told you here. So we'll put URL, email, and password here. And this is a test case. This is a test case. This test case has to get the URL from here. I want to print the URL, email and password here. What I have to do, guys? I have to say prop dot there is a method known as load. Load is inside load. What we have to give? Input stream. We have to give input stream. Okay, load input stream. So let me create the input stream. File input stream. All these things are Java only, guys. Okay, all these things are Java only. I am not writing any Selenium code. File input stream. FIS is equal to new file input stream. This is all Java. I already explained file handling, if you remember, right? File input stream. Over the mouse, import file input stream from Java. So here we have to give the path of the file. What is the path of the file? Under the project directly this file is there. So you can directly give data dot properties here. If this particular file is there under any folder, you have to give the folder name / data dot properties. Since the file is directly available under the project, you can directly give the file name with extension. Now this FIS, copy this and put it here. That's it. This will load the properties file. This will load the properties file. Add throws declaration. Now once the properties file is loaded, you can say system.out.println prop dot get property. This property you have to give the here. If you want to get the URL, what you have to give, guys? What you have to give here? If you want to get the URL, what do you think we have to give here, guys? You have to type in the chat now. You can guess it. If I want to get this URL, what I have to type in this get property? Tell me, guys. Anyone? Yes, Krish, you are right. You have to give URL. This key name you have to give. The value it will retrieve. Okay. Suppose system.out.println prop dot get property. If I want to get the this particular email address, what I have to give? What I have to give, guys? If I want to get this your email address, what I have to give? Here. As a key, what I have to give? I have to give email. Then system.out.println prop dot get property. Here what I have to give? If I have to get this password, okay, if I have to get this password, which key I have to give? This password I have to give. Copy this, paste it here. That's it. Now run this. Okay, now run this. You will see the result. Right click, run as Java application. Did you get the results, guys? As we expected. Guys, what do you think? Is it clear for you? So we wanted the URL. URL got retrieved with the help of get property. We have to give the key name. The value got printed, right? We gave the email key and its value got printed. So from where these values are coming? From the properties file. This will be used as a properties file. This is one of the test case. Tomorrow you will create 100 test cases. All the test cases will use the same data.properties file for accessing the values using the keys. Okay. If tomorrow the URL changes, just change it here. That's it. Okay. It will be whatever the URL you change here. This particular test will access only the URL from here. Okay. And also I'll keep some property like this. Result is equal to fail. Okay, result is equal to fail. Initially result is equal to fail, but because of some test here, I want to change it. I want to update it, guys. Okay, I want to update the result from fail to pass in the properties file. What I have to do for that? There is some code, guys. Okay, so we have some command known as store. 1 minute. Let me see this code. Okay, you can see this code, guys. You have to write this code. Set property. There is a command known as set property. This will retrieve the so here, guys, let me explain. Sorry. Fine. So this is for getting the property, guys. For updating the property. For example, if you want to just retrieve, if you just want to retrieve, this get property is enough. But if you want to update this value from fail to some pass or something, then you have to use some different method. That is prop dot set property. Okay, it's not get, it's set property. Which property you want to set? I want to set the property having the name as key as result. So provide this here. Which value you want to set? I want to set the value as pass. Okay, I want to set the value as pass like this. Originally in the properties file we have fail, right? Originally in the properties file we have fail. But when you say set property, this particular statement will set it to pass. But this will not work, guys. We have to do few more steps. We have to do few more steps. We have to write few more steps for this kind of thing to be updated in the properties file. What are they? We have to say file output stream. So there is something known as another method is there. Prop.store method is there. Prop.store. So let me see this store. Yeah. So here, if I write it again, prop.store, you see here, this store will require two things. One is output stream, another one is comments, right? Output stream for inputting, for retrieving, for reading from the properties file, we have input stream. For updating it to the properties file, for writing it out, for output thing, we need output stream. Okay, we are here, we need to create output stream. File output stream FOS is equal to new file output stream. Like this, you have to create an object for the file output stream. And here, file you have to provide same file, same data.properties file you can provide here. That's it. Now, here you need to provide this FOS. Then comments, I don't want to comment anything. So just provide null. Null will be nothing, comment will not be commented. Okay. No comments will be added to the properties file. So blank, just it will update, simple update. So this particular thing set property will be updated by these two lines. Fine. So now save this. So here you are getting from the properties file. Here you are updating to the properties file. Okay, you are writing this thing to the properties file. Here you are getting from the properties file. There is a different. This is input stream. This is output stream. The methods are also different. You have to practice the methods. Load method for loading the properties file, and then get property for getting from the properties file, getting the values of the keys from the properties file, and set properties for updating to the properties file, but it will not update without writing these two lines. When you say store, then only this property will be updated in the properties file. So these three lines have to be written for updating into the properties file. Let me run this, right click, run as Java application. Okay, we got the values. At same time, I'm just thinking that the earlier fail should be replaced with pass. Okay, just go here. You see, result is equal to pass. At this point of time, this updation happened to the properties file. It is saying fine. So clear, guys, how to get the values from the properties file, how to update the properties in the properties file. Is everything clear for you guys? Is it clear? Guys, is it clear? Fine. So now we'll write some real automation code. Okay. Using this, we'll implement a real automation code. So what is that real automation code? I'll remove all this stuff. So now I'll say Control Shift O. So all the other unnecessary imports will be gone. Now simply write the automation code, guys. Driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Over the mouse, you don't have Selenium library. So right click, say create new. This is a Maven project, right? So open this form.xml file. Go to MVN repository. Should be very fast, guys. Okay. So we'll automate something here. We'll automate this particular scenario. So I'll go to MVN repository.com and search for what, guys? I have to search for Selenium Java. We want Selenium library, Selenium dependency tags. Then open here. Go to this version, copy this, and go here and go to dependency tags and paste it here. Under the dependencies, another dependency will add. Control Shift F, it will be organized. Save it. That's it. Okay. Now hover the mouse on WebDriver, you'll get the import WebDriver, import Chrome driver. So driver dot manage dot window dot maximize, then driver dot get the URL of the application. What is the URL? So do I have to hard code it? Do I have to hard code, guys? So how to give this URL, guys? Tell me now. Using the properties, I have to give the URL. Can I give the URL now? First here, instead of giving the actual URL, that is this particular application URL, so I have to copy paste this URL. This is hard coding. This is known as hard coding. I don't want to hard code. What I have to do? I have to get this URL from where? From data.properties file. I want to get this URL. So how to get this? How to get the URL? Simply, first create an object for the properties file. Properties prop is equal to, this already explained, so I am just a bit fast, so don't worry. Properties. Over the mouse. This is from Java. Then prop dot load. I have to say, right? For this input stream is required. So file input stream FIS is equal to new file input stream. Now over the mouse, import this file input stream again from Java. This one needs a file. Which file? Properties file. This is a properties file. Data.properties. Data.properties. Okay, like this. FIS. Copy this FIS here. Okay, copy this FIS here. We have loaded the properties file. Now the next thing is to replace this with prop dot get property of, what is the key? Key is nothing but URL. That's it. Key is nothing but URL. This URL we copied here. That's it. Now next thing, after this, what we have to do? After going to this particular page, I have to enter into this email address field. Right click inspect. This has an ID. So copy this ID. Driver dot find element by dot ID. I already copied the ID of that email address. Dot send keys. Here I should not hardcode the email address like this. Arun.motori or arun.selenium @gmail.com. I should not hardcode. Instead of that, I have to read this from the properties file. How to do that? Simply say prop dot get property of, what is that? Key, guys. Key is email. Copy this email and put it here. Okay, key dot in the double quotes put email. That's it. Now I need to provide the password. Right click inspect. Copy this ID. Driver dot find element by dot ID. Okay, paste this ID. Say dot send keys. Send keys. Now say prop dot get property. Which property? I should not provide the password. I should not hardcode the password. So I am just saying dot get property. Which property? Here password. This one. Okay. Provide the password here. That's it. Now I'll write the remaining code. Right click inspect this login button. I'll create an XPath for this login button. /input /input value is equal to login. Enter. So only one element. Copy this. So driver dot find element by dot XPath dot click, right? Click. Fine. That's it. Save it. So things are good, guys. Things are good. So finally, if I run this code, this should work, right? We should be able to get the properties, required properties, wherever required. We have not hard coded. We have avoided hard coding here. All these values are coming from the properties file. So right click, run as Java application. The script will work. Okay, what happened? The path to the driver as well must be set to, yeah. So we have missed one more step, guys. WebDriver manager. WebDriver manager dot. Okay. So for that, again, we have to go to MVN repository and search for WebDriver manager. Every time we have to take care of the things, guys. Okay. Don't forget. WebDriver manager. Copy the latest version. Dependency tags. Copy this. Go to the pom.xml file and put it here. Control Shift F. Save this. So some error is coming where the pom.xml file. Okay, what is this error? Why it's coming here? So Sometimes it may happen, guys. That's okay. So Control Shift Z, Control Shift Z, save it. This is gone. No, it's not about save. No, Control Shift Z. Why this error is coming? So okay, the error version. The element type version must be terminated by the matching end tag slash version. It's not there. It's there now. Okay, slash version is there. Version is there. Slash version is there. Remove this and save. Still error is there. Okay. Control Z. Plugin slash plugin. Version slash version. So where exactly it has gone wrong? Don't understand this. So some mistake happened, guys. Okay, that's why it's the problem is coming. So how to overcome this problem is something we have to worry. Attribute name for okay. Control Shift F. Still the error is not. Still the error is not gone. Somewhere here something got disturbed, guys. Nothing more than that. Okay. So something got disturbed here. We'll try to copy this pom.xml from a different package. Control A, which is actually working. Don't know whether this will work or not, but we'll try our level best. Control A, Control C, Control A, delete, Control V, save. No, it's not working. Fine. There is no other way, guys. We have to create a new project. Okay. We have to create a new project. Otherwise, things are not going to work. So this one is creating a problem. I don't know why the problem is coming. We are not able to troubleshoot. So we'll do one thing. We already have the every project ready. It will not take that much time. We'll create a new project. Right click new project. What is that? Maven project. Click on next. Click on next. P properties demo project. Okay, sorry. So here back. Yeah, click on next. Here we have to type Maven hyphen archetype hyphen quick start. Select this. Click on next. Here we have to give P project demo project some D pack or something. Click on finish. Another project we have created here. Delete this default thing. We have this pom.xml file available now. Let's first work on the pom.xml file. Okay. So we'll add some dependency tags. First tag is like Selenium Java. Selenium Java. Copy this dependency tag of Selenium Java. Sometimes we'll get issues, guys. We have to work with them. There is no other way. Control Shift F. Save. When you say Control Shift F, something happened because of that problem came, right? If I remove this, nothing is there. So we'll manually do this now. Okay. We'll not just because of that Control F, right? Something happened at that point of time, and still problem is coming. Oh my gosh. Control Shift, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. No. Again, we triggered the same problem. Okay. We'll delete this project. Create another project. I think I should not use Control Shift F there. Okay. So that may be causing the problem. We'll do it again. Maven hyphen archetype hyphen quick start. So it's loading the archetypes. Select this. Click on next. So here we'll give PD properties demo project. Some DP pack. Click on finish. Originally it is fine, right? You see pom.xml file is originally fine. Remove this. So we'll not press Control Shift F now. Okay, we'll simply do this without Control Shift F and see whether this is working or not. Paste it. So far so good. Save it. No problem. I'll not organize this. Okay, I'll not format this. So second thing is WebDriver Manager, right? WebDriver Manager. Enter. enter to WebDriver manager. Just copy this and paste it here, save it. Even WebDriver manager is also good. Simply close this now. Okay, don't do any mistakes. So copy this data.properties and paste into the here. Okay, you don't have to create again. You don't have to create again, guys. Simply copy paste. And also this file is also you don't have to create again. Just copy paste here. That's it. Just move it everything. Okay. So now it's not required. Simply delete this. Now we have the new project and open this demo.java. Here WebDriver manager, import it. WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup. Things are good now. Save it. Error is gone. Now run this, guys. Okay. Without hard coding, it should work. Right click run as Java application. Right click run as Java application. You see the script is working, right? We have not hard coded any URL. We have not hard coded any email address. We have not hard coded any password. We are able to log in also. Fine. Things are working fine, guys. It's all about the properties. It's all about properties. You can also try properties your side. You can practice it and try to retrieve the properties from the properties file. Okay. Some properties file. So is this clear, guys? Is this clear? Is this clear? Okay. What about others? Krish has pinned me like he's clear with that. What about others? Is everyone clear with this topic? Okay. Sonu is also clear. So any doubts? Any doubts? Questions? Fine. Everyone is clear. Great. Okay. But practice, guys. So I'll take up this Maven topic tomorrow. But before ending today's session, I'll take a very small means very small topic known as Selectors Hub. Okay. Selectors Hub. It is an add-on, guys. It's a very small topic, very easy to understand. You already know about selectors. Okay, regarding selectors, you already have idea. I'll just give a high level thing. So here instead of Maven comments, I'm going to cover selectors hub add-on. Okay, selectors hub add-on. This is recently released into the market, guys. Selectors hub add-on is recently released into the market. This will help you in. This will help you while creating XPath expressions and CSS selectors manually. Okay, if you are creating the XPath expressions and CSS selectors manually, Selectors Hub will help you like anything. Okay, Selectors Hub will help you like anything. Okay, so let me practically show you how the Selectors Hub is going to work. Okay, let me practically show you how the Selectors Hub is going to work. This main topic I'm not covering today. This will take a lot of time, guys. So I'll cover this small topic today and end today's session. And tomorrow we'll continue. The next session will continue with the next topics. Okay, let me explain about this Selectors Hub now. So here, guys, in your open any browser, say Chrome. Let me see if I already have that add-on with me. If that is there, I'll remove that. I'm just removing the selector sub from my machine. It's now uninstalled. I'll freshly install. I'll simply open the Chrome browser. So search for selectors hub. So you'll go to selectorshub.com. Okay, this is selectors hub. Selectors. Okay, selectors hub. Go to this website like selectors hub, and here you see there is a download option. Click on download. It will take you to the Chrome Google Store. Okay. So here we have selectors hub. Just click on add, install the selectors hub, nothing more than that. Just install, add extension. The selectors hub got installed and added to your Chrome browser like this. You can see the selectors hub, right? Now guys, what you can do here is open any application, say tutorials, ninja or demo. Go to this login page, which you are familiar with. Let's say I want to create an XPath manually for this email address. What we'll do, right click inspect, right? Right click inspect. And here, this particular thing, this is the HTML code of this email address. Now, when this is selected, here along with the crow path, you now got selected sub, right? Just select the selected sub. Now you'll get these options. Now, this suppose you want to create XPath. Generally, without the selector sub, what you will do? You'll say Control F. You will say double slash input. It's gone. Where it is gone? The required line is gone, right? For example, here you said inspect. Then it is displayed. This particular line is visible. But when you are typing here, You want to create an XPath by looking at this line using the default option of Chrome. You see where it is gone. Some other input is getting selected. That's a problem. That's a major problem, right? So when you inspect something here and this HTML is line is there here, and this should not be display. This should not go on away when you say double slash input here. This is going away, right? This is not a good solution. But in SelectorsHub, when you say double slash input, still it is there. Still this particular line is there. And when you say open the square bracket, and if you want to use any of these attributes, so I want to use ID attribute. So if you say at the rate, it's giving you some options. You can select either type, at the rate name, you can type at the rate place. You don't have to type everything on your own, right? Selectors, using SelectorsHub, this will type for you. So let's say I want to select out of all these attributes available, I would like to select at the rate ID. Select this option. That's it. Your XPath is created. Is it good or not, guys? Compared to the default Google options, is this CSS SelectorsHub, this SelectorsHub good or not? XPath and CSS SelectorsHub good or not? What do you think, guys? Is it useful add-on or not? This is recently launched into the market. Okay, so you can check more information about this on SelectorsHub website. Okay, this is very good add-on, guys. Very beautiful developed and all. Okay, so a lot of information is there. If you want to learn more about that, they have some blogs, videos, and all those stuff. Okay, you can go through them. You don't need that much, but if you still want to learn in a detailed manner, you can go here. Otherwise, this will be enough. I'll also create some CSS selector now. Okay, for this CSS selector, how to create, guys? I'll type input, open the square bracket. You see automatically, you don't have to forget about at the rate. Generally, people in CSS select, people don't remember and type at the rate. This is not a good approach. But when you open the square bracket, automatically it's giving the options for you. Enter, that's it. CSS selector for this email address is done. What about this login? Right click inspect. Okay, so here this is currently selected. So if you type double slash input, open the square bracket, you see all the options are coming. Value is called login. Done. Enter. It's able to. How simple it is when you are manually creating the XPath expressions and CSS selectors on your own. This is a very handy add-on, guys. Okay, this SelectorsHub is a very handy add-on. Okay, you can use it. It's a very beautifully developed add-on which will save your time, okay, while creating the XPath and CSS selectors in a manual way, not auto generation. For auto generation, you have to go for CrowPath. For auto generation, you can go for CrowPath. For manual creation of the XPath expressions and CSS selectors, you can use SelectorsHub. Instead of the default Google options, you can go with SelectorsHub. So guys, this is all about SelectorsHub. We are done for today's session. Any doubts, guys, from today's session? Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Or is everything clear? Great. So in the next session, we'll start with Maven, Jenkins, and all those stuff. Okay, we'll take that. So this is for today, guys. So what about others? Is everything clear for everyone, guys? Type yes if everything is clear. Otherwise, type no in the chat and ask questions, guys. Just practice all this stuff, whatever I explained so far in today's session, and okay, attend the next session, which is in the next week. Fine, guys. So that's it from my side. See you guys. Thank you, guys. Bye.